We have to grow up and start turning the other cheek. For the simple fact that we've all been in hell. We've all been in hell. We've all sinned. We've all deceived. We've all lied. We've all operated from fear and projected our fear onto other people and tried to manipulate our outside experience to match what we thought we wanted in the lower self. Every being on earth has done that. Every man and woman has lived in deceit at some point in their life. So when you realize you've lived in deceit and you rise up out of it, you must turn the other cheek. You can't be vengeful. You can't be looking for revenge because we have all been the same. We've all been in the same abyss. We was all caught up in the same deceit. So we've all done the same things. There's no better or worse when it comes to sin. It's just an energy. Once you've tapped into that energy, you become deeper and deeper engulfed, and deeper in you indulge in it. And you deceive yourself and tell yourself you're doing good when you're not. You see what I'm saying? Yes, some of us had the voice, the inner voice all the way through. I had the I and I knew, which prevented me from taking part in certain things. But that doesn't mean I didn't live in deceit. Everyone lived in deceit. Yes, there's different levels and people done different things within the deceit, yeah. But that's we ain't got time to be deciphering that right now. We're in the end days. We're in the last days. Okay? It's time for you to take responsibility for what you done and forget what anybody else done and rise and forgive yourself and become your true expression. And in that way, other people will see you and take that as an example. Especially if you was a person who used to do wrong things, it's even better then. Because you're showing that you can go from one extreme to another and rise. Like most of the prophets, like Moses. He had killed someone. And like many other prophets, they all had done things that you would perceive as wicked and evil, and you would think that a prophet wouldn't do because of the perception that you've been given of a prophet, or of this perception we've been given of Christ, like it's perfection. But it says in the Bible, Christ had to descend to the lower realms of hell to ascend back up to heaven. Meaning you have to go to the darkness, you have to go to your lower self before you ascend. Because then when you ascend, then you understand other beings who are going through that same process, and you don't take it personal. You realize that they're in the same hell that you was in at one time. And that's when you learn to turn the other cheek. You can't look for revenge when you rise into the eyes of God, because God is all forgiving. And when you step into that energy, you must be like God. You have to walk the path of God. You have to be a living manifestation of God on earth. If God is all forgiving, that means you must have to become all forgiving. If God is all loving, that means you have to become all loving. Okay? But if you're walking in that energy, you have to have no regard for deceit as well. So that means you have to stand up for truth as well. It's not a soft path. It's not a pushover path. You stand up for deceit, because this is hell, and deceit is rife. So that means when you're walking the path of God and the path of truth, you have to stand up for truth, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's going to brush feathers, even if you're going to get persecuted, even if people are going to not like you, you have to still stand up for it, because you're standing up for the living one inside, the truth, the thing that created you and every other thing that you see, and gives you everything that you need and everything that you have and everything that you eat and drink and everything that you wear, the great mother, the sustainer of all, and the sun sending its rays down to the earth and doing what it does to give us life. You see? So it's a beautiful thing that the sun and the moon, they're beings as well, and they follow their orbits perfectly. They rise at the same time and they go down at the same time. They don't have to. They're a soul. They can go off that orbit and do what we done and just start saying, you know what, I'm going to rebel against it. But they don't do that. They keep the order. And if they done that, we would all die. So it's like when we're doing it, we're doing the same thing. We're killing off other beings. Okay? So it's time to turn the other cheek and grow up. And take responsibility for oneself. Peace.